Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Sunless Skies, where today we are hunting juggernauts. We also have some other minor things that we can get done. There is the small matter of the delivery of jumbled souls to Port Prosper, which we can definitely do. I'm not misremembering, right? We can just buy souls straight up at Magdalen's? Yeah, okay. We have 3 souls already, that's right. I bought them at a discounted price. So we are not swinging through Magdalen's. We are headed straight to Port Prosper. Port Prosper sell supplies and fuel. Yes. Okay. So we don't need to wait up anymore. Let's just head out there and do the thing. So we'll blow up some juggernauts. If we see some juggernauts, we will turn in our thing and then we will hunt some more. As far as I can tell, this is the only place, Port Prosper is the only place that we can reliably find juggernauts in the Reach anymore. I think we made the rest of it a little bit too unfriendly to the agents of the Crown. And somehow we managed to do it without it ever becoming terribly obvious that it was us. I mean, I guess I didn't really do any of, like, the fighting around Winchester or anything. Mostly what I did was constantly feed information to the rebels. So it really is, it actually is a very indirect effort on our part. I think we'll swing by the memorial to the unknown rat because that'll calm our crew down a little bit before we hit Port Prosper. We have more than enough fuel and supplies. You know, honestly, I think things are just kind of going well. I know that, like, saying that feels pretty risky. Feels like I'm going to prompt them to stop going well. But I think we're in really good shape here. Alright, what's up with this homestead? Okay, there are people here. We could share some gossip. I don't really want to do that. I guess let's just eat our fill. Turns out we don't need to stop by the memorial to the unknown rat after all. I think we want to hold our gossip. At this point, the small amount of money we save by not having to buy the crate of supplies is pretty irrelevant. There was a time when every coin counted, but at this point, our fuel and supply concerns are more of the nature of how many crates can we jam on the hold, and less how will we afford enough food to keep living. We still swing by the memorial because it's wonderful. Stop. Hey, be careful. Tackety's got no respect for rats, man. That guy is just the worst. Man, this is a long flight. So there's not anything else that we need to do terribly here before we leave. But we are going to have to fly all the way back to Lustrum to get our moment of inspiration once we actually get the nameplates. This homestead comprises a scattering of houses and a ramshackle barn. A cloud of dust rises from the yard. 2 men are fighting. They roll on the floor, grasping for purchase and shouting complaints. Well, we could jump in here and try to calm them down, or perhaps I'd rather not risk encountering hostile strangers. I am sort of curious what they're fighting over. The men are graying and scarred. Their arms are brown as teak and knotted with muscle. They strike indiscriminately, but thus far, ineffectually. As far as you can tell, they're fighting over what color to paint a shared outhouse. Are you... okay. Well, perhaps they'd be happier apart. They're too old to be settling their problems this way. We could shout at them a lot. They might not have a great reaction to that. I'm at a little bit of a loss here. The stakes here are so low. It's such a different sort of problem than the ones we're used to having. I guess we could steal their stuff and give them a sound moral lesson in peaceful coexistence. No, hold on. Let's just separate them. Guys, what are you doing? What is happening here? Neither man thanks you, but they are more sulky than angry. Even on these far lonesome rocks, men still find cause to fight. You suppose the consistency is reassuring. Yeah, I think that that is probably one of those human traits that's going to follow us anywhere we go. Alright. Sounds of combat. So it sounds like there's probably more than one Juggernaut over here, and they're fighting a Tackety. That's my guess. I want to jump this guy from behind, but I want to do it from closer. Alright. Surprise! Oh, I missed. Okay, I intentionally fired while overheated there. Should we rate the whole... You know, we still do have use for another unlicensed chart. Let's check their navigation suite out. Okay, permits. Permits are very useful. The suite is upholstered in scarlet velvet and brass, like an opera box with artillery. Unused weaponry lines the walls, their shadows spilling over the empty glasses strewn about the comfortable chairs and tables. Among a stack of papers, mostly tracking suspected criminals along secret routes, is a ministry permit for discretionary activities. Okay. I wasn't even thinking about that, but yeah, good point. Ow! The Tackety just absolutely shot me on purpose. He saw what happened. He's just being an ass. Sometimes Tacketies are just jerks for no reason. Okay, yeah, I forgot about the fact that we could get permits this way. That's definitely a thing I'm interested in. Honestly, we took more damage from the Tackety than we did from the Juggernaut. Oh, stop, turn. Okay, whoo. Managed to not actually get hit there. Look at that shot. I'm very pleased with myself. Okay, we're definitely just going to keep checking their navigation suites. I would actually much rather have permits than charts. Yeah, that's awesome. So now we have enough permits to free the half-glass empty from the sun. Boy, this game makes you say some sentences. Alright, still need 3 more nameplates. And we could definitely afford to just fight more guys. Like, if we dock at the port and come back out and there are more dudes, we could definitely fight them. We're doing just fine on hull. Provided, of course, that the Tacketies don't get too involved. I do hear gunfire. Alright, let us drop these souls off at the bazaar. A butler receives the bottled souls at the servants' entrance to a grand townhouse. Most appreciated, and please accept a small additional sum as an indication of how highly we value your discretion. Alright. And they're selling literature. We need literature, right? It's not super hard to come by, but, like, this is a good price. We may as well take it on. Okay. We also may as well write a port report while we are present. Okay. Let's sneak into the Windward Company with the Rat Brigade. We could use our connections, if only this guy didn't hate us. Yep, gonna have to expend a little bit of a bribe here. It's occasionally open for the edification of the paying public. Slipping away from the tour of the factory will be easier than just breaking in. The hour of the factory visit arrives. Your sleeves quiver with excited rats. That's extremely adorable. But in the jostle of gawpers, busybodies, stakeholders, and hangers-on, no one notices. The wrought iron gates with their cheery motif of butterflies swing open. A sharp-smiled company forewoman is on hand to lead the tour. Inside is an orderly purgatory of wheels, spindles, and great creaking looms. Steam, smoke, and the crystalline gleam of cracked hours makes visibility poor. Your sleeves squeak impatiently. Really, it's 300 sovereigns. That wasn't a bribe. That's just the price you have to pay for the tour? Jesus. Man, rich people. You know, they live a very different style of life. There are guards watching the workers. There are guards watching the machinery. Valuable if dismantled, disastrous if sabotaged. There are guards watching the upper doors into the private offices of the company board. Still, they can't watch everywhere. After only a few minutes, you've identified the door to the lieutenant's office. The little rat hole cut into the bottom of the door gives it away. Well, we're not very sneaky. We could attempt to just sort of punch our way in. We could blow open the doors if we had some munitions. We could go back and get some of those munitions we banked. You know, given how low our chances are on this roll, and the fact that we already have some munitions, we just don't have them on us. And we're going to have to go back to New Winchester anyway, potentially, because we might have to travel a little bit and let the Juggernauts respawn. Maybe we should just not roll the dice on this and come back with the explosives. Plus, blowing up Windward Company property is very on brand for us, right? Okay, we'll come back. It's gonna cost us another 300 sovereigns. You know what? Let's roll the die. I could throw a punch sometimes. Hey, look at that. Wilma has been devising a strategy for this exact scenario for months. Among others, I have difficulty sleeping. Sapping and sabotage are the order of the day. Albrecht feigns being caught in a mousetrap. Guards and foremen are drawn to attend to his pitiable death sobs. Petronella gets to work an assembly line and a rotating saw. The air is quickly full of ricocheting nails. This provides cover for Cinders to rush the door, guns ablaze, as she blows the lock clean off. This sounds incredibly dangerous. I wish they had told me what the plan was. Vianne scurries to attend to the punctured guards and workers. Her care involves significant amounts of laudanum. You are unlikely to be disturbed for a while. Well, you know, when they create a distraction, they create a distraction. In the luxurious office in front of you, the parsimonious chairman and a small elderly rat on a pincushion blink in surprise. Yeah, there was a machinery failure outside. Maybe you ought to go check on it. The elderly rat blinks several times. Cinders? I was wondering when this day would come. His voice quavers like an unfortunate flute solo in a school concert. My dear chairman, I advise that you do not move or even blink for the duration of this interview, or I suspect someone might do something unpleasant. The lieutenant turns his attention back to you. Before you do anything, I have one thing to say. I like this description a lot. As a person who has had to play an unfortunate flute solo in a school concert, I know exactly what they're saying here. Alright, well, let's listen to him. Cinders' derringer is aimed squarely at the elderly rat's face. The parsimonious chairman moves to add half a lump of sugar to his tea, but thinks better of it. Yeah, I would stay still. You were explicitly instructed to stay still. The lieutenant cowers before her. It wasn't me, he squeaks. Cinders blinks. You what? The words pour from him. I knew Sarge was up to something. Covert meetings, solitary reconnaissance. He made the deal with the company. But there was a miscommunication. They fired too soon. Afterwards, they assumed I'd been in on it. They offered me everything they'd offered him. And yes, I took it. And I took your blame, too. Never told, did I? Let you keep your memory of your dear old Sarge. Huh. Cinders shakes her head and cocks her gun. No, not having it. What bloody proof do you even have? The lieutenant spreads his paws on the table. I suspect the only proof left is in the vault. I'll give you my number regardless. I would ask you spare me until you've entered it, at least. In her pause, Cinders' gun wobbles. Okay, here's the thing. I have had a number of rat companions in my life. Rats are very clever. They're also very sneaky. I'm not saying that I think that this guy is definitely up to something, but I am saying that there's a significant risk of him being up to something. And I'm like this, I'll give you the number, and I'll ask that you spare me until you've entered it. This feels like a trap to me, is what I'm saying. I think that this guy has set up some kind of insurance, because he's smart, and he thinks ahead, and rats are survivors, if nothing else. So maybe letting Cinders do what she wants to do here is the safer thing for all of us. And I mean, this guy does work with the Windward Company. We know he's a bad dude. There are no nice people on the executive board of the Windward Company, or perhaps any large company. Alright, I'm going to let Cinders handle it. I'm not getting involved. Cinders considers the lieutenant. What'll it be, Lieutenant? I've got a smoke on me, and I know for a fact Petronella keeps a flask of bourbon on her at all times. The lieutenant asks for the alcohol. His whiskers don't even tremble. He downs the drink before exhaling slowly. The number is... As soon as he has finished reciting it, Cinders fires. The sharp scent of smoke cuts the air. You've got blood on the mahogany. The parsimonious chairman's tone is mild. We'll expense you at a later date. Please leave. The Rat Brigade does so. Their business complete. All right, well... I think that was the final bit of the number, right? Is there anything that we want to buy while we're here? I guess there's no sense in not taking on some fuel and supplies. And then let's hunt around a little bit. I thought I heard more gunfire. It could be there's a juggernaut deeper in, near the relay. No, I think we're getting further away from it. Yeah, you know, like, we could have tried to talk Cinders out of that. I'm not sure that... First of all, I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure that it would have been safe for us. But secondly, I really don't feel like it's my place to be offering counsel on this. I showed up in the last chapter of this particular story. It's not really my thing. It's very windy here, and it's sound dampening. Don't think I hear combat anymore. It's a shame we can't send the scout out to hunt down nearby juggernauts. Well, you know what? We haven't actually even been up here. Let's just spend some time looking around. I definitely heard an explosion. Yep, that's a juggernaut gun. So it seems like 3 mangonel shots and a point-blank shotgun blast does the job. That is not an amount of fire that we can do without overheating. Ah, that's a little awkward. I was turning when I fired it first, so I wasn't lined up for the second shot automatically the way I have been the last couple of times. Ow, shoot. Alright, let's try to get around his side, maybe. Maybe the tackety could actually just finish the job for me? Or maybe it could at least not act as a shield for him? Okay. Acting as a shield for me is fine. Alright, I'm going for it. Got him. No, almost got him. Okay, hey, the tackety actually did help. Nice of you to put forth a little effort there. Apparently that is not close enough to loot. There we go. Alright, what you got in here? Okay, found ourselves a chart. The lanterns have all gone out in the suite, and no candles are left to burn. The light of far-off stars filters through the shattered stained glass in iridescent shadows. Among the darkling haze of color, you uncover a chart detailing some very illicit trade routes indeed. Was the dreadnought on the trail of smugglers, or was it looking to supplement its income far away from London's watchful eyes? Well, listen, I don't care. Either way works for me. I saw some luggage over here. Let's go loot that. Do not shoot at me. I helped you. Look at that. You can see him thinking about it. A part of the downside of not having been a central figure in the fighty part of the war is that I feel like a lot of the tacketies don't know who I am. Don't know how important I was to their cause. That's fine. It's probably for the best. So, I'm trying to think ahead now. We certainly have some things to do back in Albion, but I'm wondering if going back to Albion is actually our next step, or should we try to go to the Blue Kingdom? We know where the relay is, although we don't exactly know how it's operated. I don't know if we can actually use it, because it may not be, like I say, it may not be crewed, and we may not know how to turn it on. But I suppose it bears investigating at least while we're here. We did not see a relay from Albion to the Blue Kingdom. Doesn't mean there wasn't one, but we certainly, like, I don't know of any other way to get there other than the relay right over by New Winchester. Alright, let's swing back through the front of Port Prosper one more time, see if... Aha! See if new juggernauts have spawned. I'd like to be close enough to just give them a blast with both the guns at point-blank range. Okay, that's pretty good for us, I think. Such timing! It does seem like the NPC mangonels do less damage than mine do. Because if that mangonel shot that hit him had been from my weapon, I think he'd be on fire now. Yeah, maybe. Ah, that's a bad shot. Alright, let's take out this marauder and see if we can get some hull back from him. One more permit? That's awesome. I'm so happy about all these permits. Oops. Alright, please tell me hull recovery is an option. Excellent. Okay, we can definitely fight one more juggernaut here. If we can find one. And I sure hope we can, because we are at 11 nameplates, right? I would hate to have to go all the way back to New Winchester just to come all the way back here. Oh, I hear gunfire. What is this place over here called? Mad Mercy's Claim? Yeah, we definitely saw juggernauts over here before. Only the most foolhardy treasure hunters come here. Yeah, we did see them fighting a scribe spinster last time, didn't we? Looks like we are not going to be so unlucky this time. Oh, never mind me, just passing through. Aha! A brilliant ruse is what it was. I missed. Shoot. Ow, 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 ow. Okay. Well, real glad we managed to regain some hull in between those last two fights. Oh, hey, that's eels. Alright, got ourselves another chart, and here we are at 12 nameplates, so we are ready. We are ready to push our ambition forward once again. I wonder how many steps there are to that. So I probably want to avoid the wind, right? I want those eels, though. Let's see if we can do the one without falling into the other. Come on. There we go, there we go. Okay. Wow. Your remaining food swells, sprouting milk-filled nodules. One of the nodules develops a tiny mouth and begins to sing. No wonder the crew's terror goes up when we enter those winds. Alright, let's head back home. We'll swing through New Winchester on to repair on the way to Lustrum. And then... Oh, we don't really have a lot else to do here, right? We'll go to Lustrum, we'll get our moment of inspiration, and then we'll come back and we'll push our ambition forward, and I guess that will determine what we do next. Oh, we do need to talk to the rats again, too. Alright, guys, what do you think? We have the number and the location of Sarge's account. I guess this is a good reason to go back to London. The whole brigade are gathered around Cinder's nest of spent bottles and old journals. All eyes are on her. Cinders surveys her team and at last nods. We're ready. Whatever Sarge has left in there, it's been there too damn long. There are cheers from the rats. We dealt with some bad business, long overdue. There are louder cheers. He got what's his, and now we're getting what's ours. Your mess is a cacophony of squeaking. To London, and a bloody generous pension. At the back of the brigade, Wilma watches Cinders carefully. All right, well, we're ready to head to London then. So hold on. I need tea to deal with you. I know that the princess wanted to go to Eleutheria. He wants to go to London and to the Well of the Wolf, which I do not... That's a place that I don't know about. That might be a tricky one to figure out. The Clay Conductor wants to go... Murgatroyd's Taste of Albion at the Court of Tea and Spice in Aklis. This is a place we don't know about yet, but it's in Albion. Sorry, no, it's called Murgatroyd's Taste of Albion. I actually have no idea where it is. Okay, I have attended a scandalous soiree with our aunt, and we did not talk to her afterwards. So probably that ought to happen. What was all that about at St. Dunstan's? What got you so shaken up? When I was a gal, I used to do a bit of spying for the Crown. Now I've been out of the trade for years, but I couldn't help but overhear an intriguing conversation. People rarely pay attention to ladies of my age. She gives you a look as though daring you to disagree. They said revolutionaries helped our government conquer Albion. They mentioned a secret rendezvous at St. Dunstan's between 4 representatives, a new sequencer, a revolutionary, and 2 members of Her Majesty's government. I have to get to the bottom of this. It is my duty. She tilts her chin defiantly. I have a friend at Port Prosper who owes me a favor, and we can get lunch. Okay, well, good thing we did this before heading back, right? Would have been more efficient to have remembered in the first place, but at least we got around to it eventually. Everybody's got places to go and things they want to do. Alright, let us explore Port Prosper. We definitely should stay away from the Windward Company. Oh, rely on your local credentials to meet your inconvenient aunt's friend, or rely on your establishment credentials to meet your inconvenient aunt's friend. Well, we certainly don't have... we don't get along with the West Enders all that well. That's a tricky problem. Affiliation Establishment 3. This guy would give us a point... Okay, we just let the Judicious Driver lead the way. Then we are all set. So let's also have a chat with him real quick. Okay, no, we've seen that dialogue. All right, let's go to the station. The driver knows some people, apparently. They've requested we meet at the Admiral Nelson, your aunt says. You'll need to keep the right company to get in. They won't admit just anyone. Yeah, it turns out the driver has some lineage. You are led to your table. Your aunt examines the menu with a critical eye. Ginger snaps, she exclaims, "Goodness me! You cannot tell if this is a good thing or not." At last, an older lady joins you. She introduces herself as a countess. "This is the last time," she says to your aunt. "You're not to contact me again." The St. Dunstan's rendezvous concerned the murder of a son, the Countess says, frowning. There were 4 attendants. The chaplain of the new sequence, February, Her Majesty's Privy Councillor, and Her Majesty, the Queen. She rises and thrusts what looks like a Christmas card into your aunt's hand, before walking away swiftly. Really, the Queen was there personally. That's strange. Alright, what do you make of that? What have you gotten us involved in? One tick, dearie, just looking for... Aha! The clink of glass. Your aunt rises from an open suitcase, clutching a dusty bottle of brandy. We've got to get to Pan in Eleutheria. That's what February is. Though she wasn't February when I knew her. She was my opposite number back in... but you want answers. February is on the Calendar Council, the revolutionary leadership. The Christmas card will get us into Winter's Reside. Your aunt brandishes the bottle. She has a fondness for brandy. I've been saving this for if I ran into her again. It should get us into her good graces. She'll be able to tell us what went on at St. Dunstan's. This sounds like some stuff that is kind of out of my pay class. Secret meetings about the murder of the son and everything. I think I want to go back to having the rats be our chief engineer. So, we have lots of reasons now to go to Eleutheria. Is Eleutheria a name for the Blue Kingdom, or are those two different places? You know what? We should get our ambition pushed forward, and then maybe go back up to the top of the world. I don't remember. Was it here that we saw the relay? I think it was. I don't know why it's disappeared from our map. Maybe I'm misremembering entirely, but it might bear a little bit of exploration, I think. All right, we know that the next step is New Winchester, though. Forgotten factories, gently desolating. Well, I guess we'll just, let them get on with that very important business. Definitely want to swing past the rat again. I saw a cantankerous up at the top left corner of the screen briefly, but I do not think it is worth turning around to go fight it. Okay, we're headed in more or less the right direction. So we have way more money than we need. Well, not way more. We have comfortably more money than we need to pick up that new locomotive. But I do kind of want to see what trains are available on the other maps, too. I guess we might go to London next, just because we're very close to wrapping up the Rat storyline, and I want to see where it goes. He actually almost just rammed us. Yeah, I want to see exactly what is in this deposit box at the London Bank. Something that's very interesting to me. It seems like hanging out by the Wonder here is not, in fact, reducing our terror at all. Maybe we've been here too recently. We have kind of a lot of terror. Maybe it would be a good idea for us to go down to Port Avon on the way back to New Winchester. Just allow us to calm things down. We can also, if we do go to London, we can also go check out the wreck of that locomotive and see exactly what it is happened with it now. Speaking of terror. Huh. Really? I wasn't allowed to interact with this? Because we might be able to get some free terror reduction here. At least that was my hope. Oh, is this is the one I interacted with on the way up. Where those two guys were fighting about the outhouse. Nope, that is... Nope, that's a Tackety. Okay, never mind. The colors get a little strange at the edge of our vision, and I thought it was a Reach Marauder. We've probably been to New Winchester too recently to get the free terror reduction effect. So yeah, it might be worth heading down to New Avon. Plus it'll be another port report to turn in. Alright, so we'll do that. We'll head back up to New Winchester. We'll go to Lustrum. We'll get our moment of inspiration. We'll go back to New Winchester. It's going to be a lot of just sort of idly flying around today. And I don't even have any interesting anecdotes about dance class or pizza or anything. Listen, I'll say one downside of a life lived largely indoors is that I don't collect a lot of stories very quickly. I spend a lot of time listening to other people's stories, not so much creating new ones for myself. I did have to try to, speaking of listening, I did have to try to explain Twitter to my mother the other day. That was weird. My mom is trying to modernize her understanding of the world, which I think is a noble goal. Let's destroy this fungus. We could use the terror reduction. Well, that was a lot. Yeah, I think she feels like she's fallen behind a little bit, like the world sort of moved on without her, and she's trying to catch up now. And so I was explaining Twitter to her. She knows Twitter exists. She has kind of like a rough idea of what it is. She didn't need that. But she was like, you have a Twitter, right? And I was like, well, yeah, I sort of run a business on the internet. I kind of have to have a Twitter. And she was like, so what do you do with it? Because it doesn't seem like it would be very useful for communicating, right, with the character limit and everything. So like, what do you do with it? And that was what I was telling her was, well, I mostly use it to listen, actually. Like, the major value of Twitter to me is that it exposes me, or allows me to easily expose myself to a lot of voices that I would not ordinarily have a way of hearing. You know what, let's take the cheap repairs at the engine yard. Actually, that's a tremendous amount of money saved. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking we would come here and get the cheap fuel, but we don't need that. Can you buy fuel here? You can. You know, we don't have to go back to New Winchester at all, I guess. Let's just buy ourselves up to 5 and 5, and then go to the inn and read some stories. Some nice relaxing stories. This is a pretty slow way to reduce your terror, but it does come with the added benefit of getting us a bunch of Tales of Terror. I guess I have 25 now? Do I need another Tale of Terror? Well, I don't need a Sky story very much either. A darkly comic tale of domestic misbehavior and unusual appetites. Tale of Terror. Right. Also, I'm no longer welcome at the port. That's extremely fixable. We're going to want at least 6 welcome. But yeah, like I know some people watching this probably follow me on Twitter, and if you don't, let me tell you right now, there is no reason to rush over to Twitter and do it. I very rarely tweet. But that's like that's why I'm going, is I very rarely tweet. Like, I find the benefit of the platform is that it allows me to listen to a lot of people. I guess let's pick up another Sky story or two, because we do have a lot of Tales of Terror now. And then we'll go Tales of Terror from here out. Because we don't really need a lot of Sky stories. We definitely have more Tales of Terror than we need, though. Okay. No longer welcome in Port Avon. I'm going to go ahead and do one of these, even though we're not going to use any of the welcome here, just that we will have welcome when we come back. And we'll grab this port report. Alright. So we have 1 welcome in case it is needed next time we come here. Because we do spend our gossip. That does get used for other things. Okay, from here to Lustrum. That's a long flight. Yeah, I guess we'll, we know that this is one of those very windy areas, though. Maybe we will just go past the horror, and then we'll swing by Carillon on the way back for the port report. Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. Man, those cheap repairs at Port Avon. We made, saved ourselves a lot of money there. Do we want a thing of supplies, or do we want to just like gain some sovereigns? We're not guaranteed to do that, and it probably it won't be as many sovereigns as we will save by not having to buy the creative supplies, probably. Also, there are a lot of very good bots you can follow on Twitter. I recently discovered the Bosch bot, which just like every couple of hours tweets a really zoomed in part of the Garden of Earthly Delights, the painting by, or the triptych, I guess, of paintings by Hieronymus Bosch. If you've never had a chance to just sit down and look at like a pretty high-res version of that painting, you should. There's a lot of really wild stuff in there. I'm going to be the first person to tell you, I don't know anything at all about painting. I don't know anything about Hieronymus Bosch's life. I don't know what any of it means, is the place I'm going. But it sure is a hell of a thing to just sit and look at. Probably there's some meaning to be divined from all of it, although I bet a lot of that meaning is very, very tied to the place, the time and place of its creation. So I doubt I'd be able to get much out of it without doing like a lot of extra research. And to be perfectly honest, if I was going to do a bunch of research about a painter in order to understand their paintings, probably Hieronymus Bosch is not the top of that list. Man, I'm embarrassingly ignorant about art. Narrative art, I'm okay on. I know some things about about literary analysis and stuff, but I don't know a damn thing about, like, painting or sculpture or any of that classical stuff. Boy, this is going to be a long flight. I'm racking my brain here. I guess I could say some people watch this and may have questions. I've had a lot of questions recently about whether or not I'm going to do a series on the new Enter the Gungeon update. I am not. It's not a large enough update, I think, to warrant that. Like, I don't know that I would have done a series on the Advanced Gungeons and Dragons update if I had already done a previous series. Like, that happened because I had never played Enter the Gungeon before on the channel, and I wanted people to see it, because it really is, in my opinion, the best of those kinds of games. Like that Binding of Isaac, Nuclear Throne style of, like, active twin-stick shooter roguelike thing. I think, for me, Enter the Gungeon is head and shoulders above the rest. Some of that's the gameplay. I just really like the gameplay. I think that when Binding of Isaac got ported to the new engine, they made it considerably more like a bullet hell game, because I think this is true, because Edmund had sort of always wanted it to be one, but the technical limitations of the game as written in Flash made it tricky. You only have so many things animating on the screen at one time, before the engine starts to break down. And if you played the original Binding of Isaac, the Flash Binding of Isaac, you probably saw that happen at some point. I definitely had some runs where, like, the game engine was clearly straining under the weight of what was occurring. But I feel like the gameplay experience was very developed for what the Flash game was. Oh god, Scribe Spinster. Well, it's already found us. I don't suppose there's much reason to turn off the light now. I'm just gonna run. Sometimes they chase us and sometimes they don't. The ruins of an ancient structure once kissed by a long-dead sun. Is it a good idea to have a bunch of hours on board when terror is rising sharply? I don't know. Maybe not. There's something very sinister about this place and its red fog. Let's just move the hell on. But yeah, I feel like Binding of Isaac, like, the controls and the way the game actually plays were very designed for the amount of entities and bullets that you see in the Flash version. We're probably going to have to fight this guy if he's going to chase us. I don't know that I have the ability to lose him out here, because there's kind of nothing to hide behind. I guess we could swing through Lustrum and just wait in Lustrum. Maybe he'll get bored and go away. We want to go north for the pit. But so I don't feel that the game plays super well with the bullet helly elements, because it doesn't have, like, a dodge roll, or... I just don't think it's super fun to play the very bullet hell version of Binding of Isaac that we have now. Like, the fight against Hush is just kind of tedious and not a lot of fun. I don't know. Alright, we're done with a lot of the flying here. First of all, let's write a quick port report, as we always should. And then... let's go and, Murgatroyd. Murgatroyd's Taste of Albion at the Court of Tea and Spice in Aklis. This is maybe where we gained the information necessary to ask about what is being invented in the back of this tea shop. Let's go to Sweet Jane's and get our moment of inspiration. Turn in 12 charred nameplates for a moment of inspiration. Sweet Jane sits on a hoard of stories. Has she anything you could use? We'll also gain the Tackity's gratitude, because we need more of that, right? Her smile is swift and savage as the murder of princes. I have walked in blood in my time. What's that line from Macbeth about the seas in Carnadine? She shakes her head, glances wistfully at a few old playbills stuck on the wall behind her. All right. Once, I was captured by the stovepipes. Oh, that'll be a good, wherever that story leads, that'll be useful for our canto. So, I don't think we have anything else that we want to do here, really. Right, we have lots and lots of munitions to bring in. Interesting. Well, we could just buy these right here, and then immediately turn them around. I think... Yeah, let's satisfy this one first, because the price per munition is higher. There we go. Just had to refresh the menu. Oh, you know what? I should have grabbed the 2 crates of munitions that we had sitting in London. Or sitting in New Winchester. That was part of why I wanted to go through New Winchester on the way back here. I forgot. Oh well. It's not like it would have completed the prospect or anything. Was lucky, though, that some villainous fellow just happened to have 5 crates of munitions there. So yeah, we'll swing through Carillon, grab another port report, and then finally push our ambition forward again. I feel like it's been a really long time. But yeah, I think Gungeon is a better play experience. It feels more like arcadey and fun. I think the weapon design's really cool, and I'd be lying if I said the writing was not a huge portion of it for me. I really like the goofy, like the whole idea of a dungeon that is a gun and all the monsters are bullets and they have their own guns, and it's very silly in a way that really appeals to me. I guess, yeah, the canning equipment. I hope everybody loves the way that cantankerous taste. I wonder if we've paid off the cost of the mining drill yet. Because now it's gotten us, in addition to all the hours, it's gotten us a couple pieces of bronze wood. We probably are net profit on that at this point. That would be my guess. And what is that sound? It sounds like something... It sounds like something covered in rubber or PVC grinding against something else. What do you think? Should we get involved? I ask you, knowing that you can't answer and that I'm going to ignore anything you say anyway. It doesn't seem like fighting scribe spinsters is all that valuable. But I guess we're going to head back to New Winchester right now anyway, so we know we can get repairs. Let's maybe take a chance here. Let's try to get involved. Oh, that was a good read on the angle. It just... I didn't have the range. I do feel like I'm getting a better handle of like how slow our projectile travels, how much time it will take. I think if the Tackety hadn't hit it and stopped its movement, we would have connected there. Hey, that wasn't actually that hard. So we could just recover some of the parchment, or we could send out crewmen with axes and try to get some bronze wood out of it. We're pretty close to a level up. So maybe this would be a good time to gain experience? Who knows what secrets they may hold? We could recover some of our lost stat points. You know what? Let's go for money. We'll have plenty of time to get experience. I'm not too worried about that. We're also definitely going to get some in a moment here when we move our ambition forward. We are certainly going to level up at the very least. After we are engaged in combat near a Tackety, I feel like they always follow us around and look like they're going to shoot at us, and I would count myself as paranoid on that if they hadn't once or twice shot at us for no reason after a fight. Don't even really have to steer off course for that one. Yeah. Let's just keep gaining supplies. They sell fuel at Carillon? I don't remember. It doesn't much matter. It's not going to affect anything. We're going to take the same route no matter what. Which is me justifying being too lazy to click on Carillon on the map. You might say that probably it is not the case that writing matters very much in a twin-stick shooter roguelike kind of experience. But I would hope that anybody who's this deep in this particular series would at least have some understanding of the way I value a certain kind of writing. I do feel like I've really enjoyed what we have experienced here together. I don't have anything terribly interesting to do here. Let's contemplate the statue for a moment just to get some free terror reduction. It's been long enough since we've been to New Winchester now that I expect we will get the big terror reduction when we go there. Write ourselves a report. Hit the shop. May as well, I suppose? I just, like, totally didn't click the buy button. Okay. Alright, now just the pretty long flight from here. I mean, let's go to the circus, right? As long as we're flying around collecting reports to turn in. There is money yet to be had. I only have 2... Alright, hold on. They don't sell supply, or they don't sell fuel. You know what, let's go directly back. Maybe I don't have enough fuel for all that. I probably do. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't matter too much. Okay. How much terror do we lose when we get that event? I don't remember. We could look for an uncanny specimen, which is fine, but not something we need a ton. Let's just disperse it. Just blow it up and calm the crew down. There's a bit of travel time yet. We will continue to gain terror. Alright, so actually we should probably swing south around this next island. We've had a very good and pretty lucrative combat day today. I've said before that I'm like really happy that we found the mangonel when we did, and it's been very important to our success thus far, but it is a little disappointing that we haven't encountered any other useful weapons since. Like, I would like to see that. I feel like there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with the weapon systems in this game. Can't quite tell where that gunfire is coming from. I think it might just be due south of us. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of cool things you could do with the weapons. I'm a little disappointed at the lack of... Oh, dear. Disappointed at the lack of cool stuff we've seen on that front. Ochre fogs rise about your locomotive. The air acquires a caustic copper tang. Your driver complains they can't see a damn thing. The burrower's breath, they murmur. The fog persists all day. That evening, a gnarled crewman visits your cabin. The burrower below is displeased, he informs you. She expects a sacrifice. If you wish, he will arrange it. Well, we could try to just ignore the burrower's desires, which I'm sure will be upsetting, provided that the burrower below is a real thing. We could permit the sacrifice, which might remove the burrower's wrath, and will also definitely result in the death of some crew. Or we can rely on an old chart. We do have in our possession some charts that might allow us to navigate this stretch of sky. We risk losing an unlicensed chart. I'm not wild about sacrificing the crew. The burrower's price is the time remaining to 3 of your crew. Jesus. No, the burrower can go screw himself. We're gonna find our way through. I'm sure this is gonna have some consequences. You take the helm and order half steam. Your engine crawls forward, vast shapes looming around you like giants in the fog. Sky rocks, ancient ruins, slumbering leviathans. You steer a precarious course between them. After an hour, the air clears. The fogs part like a music hall curtain, and the stage of the sky is revealed ahead. You are free. For now. Okay, well, I mean, it didn't explicitly say that the burrower was any angrier at us, so maybe that's not a real concern. You know what? He's probably just fighting like a reach marauder or something. I don't care about that enough to spend the time to go over there. Let us go to New Winchester and engage in some writing. We certainly have, we have had some adventures and seen some things since we last added to our work. We can definitely squeeze some stories out of all that. I imagine, given what we know about our character, that they were very affected by what they witnessed on the Brabazon work world. And people love to read about the dumb stuff that rich and famous folks get up to, so I bet that that perderance thing would generate some interest. Yeah, man, that sound is... I don't know what the deal is with that sound, but it could stop happening any time now. I could never hear that again, and it would be too soon. Although, you know, sometimes you live your life in a way that means you're going to hear the sound of rubber and PVC rubbing together. It's just a thing that's going to happen. There are good reasons to endure it. Alright, it has been a while. It is now September 8th, so it's not going to take so long, in real time, for that year and a day to play out, I guess. Alright, let's top off our locomotive before we do anything else. Seeds for Port Avon. We do already have seeds, and Port Avon's not far. Yeah, sure. I'll do that. We'll drop those off. We do want to go ahead and sell off the extra hours, I think? Or maybe we hold the hours because we're planning to use... a... what do you call it? Plan to use a transit relay in the near future. Yeah, maybe we hold the hours. We definitely hold on to the literature. Where was this literature going? Was it the Abbott Horizon? We could probably bank the literature then. Yeah, we'll take the seeds to Avon. We'll hold on to the hours for the moment, because I think we're going to the relay from here. We should buy fuel, that's for sure. Alright, let us follow our ambition. Put the success of the 4 cantos out of your mind. The 5th must exceed them all, somehow. Yep. No big surprise on the level up. That was 10,000 experience. A horde of fanatical readers await your words with rabid anticipation. The song isn't yours anymore, it's theirs. You're just the unlucky shepherd who must steer it to the right ending. If you fail, they'll skin you alive and write a better conclusion in your blood. Best get on with it, then. You sit down to write, and find that the words come easily, like friends who have been waiting at the door. You invite them onto the page. As you write, words coming unbidden, you realize that you're about to launch into an anecdote that could destroy some formidable reputations. The words squirm in your head, anxious to make it to the page. You must make a decision. Are you going to speak the secrets you've learned, even those that anger the powerful? Or will you keep silent? I do not imagine that our character is much for avoiding controversy. You name names and reveal conspiracies. You hint at grander, darker mysteries that even you barely comprehend. The omnivorous publisher would be happy. Revealing all these secrets may come back to bite you, but it's certainly going to generate attention. You have a song full of secrets. The tale has grown in the telling, and grown and grown. In its vastness, it has become impossible to control. You find yourself searching through previous cantos to ensure consistency of character and detail, stumbling unexpectedly upon narrative dead ends, writing yourself into terrible tangles that cannot be salvaged. With the grim determination of Hercules facing the Hydra, you cut, and cut, until the story lies bleeding, but better, at your feet. The 5th canto is complete. This is the part of writing that I've always really struggled with, by the way. You find the omnivorous publisher at his paper-drowned desk, flanked by 2 large gentlemen with shoulders wide as anvils and guns at their hips. "Protection," explains the publisher, tossing back a glass of whiskey. "Some of your readers are rather, fanatical." He briefly skims your manuscript before handing it to an assistant. The printing presses roar like unleashed dragons. The publisher toasts you, then dismisses you with a wave of his cigar. Ah, too important for the talent now, eh? The fifth canto's publication follows much the same pattern as the fourth, an exhausting rush of book signings, interviews, and speeches. At some event or other, you can't remember which, the omnivorous publisher appears suddenly at your side, breathing smoke into your face and pressing a whiskey into your hands. "You're too big for New Winchester now," he tells you, snatching up a passing canapé. "I've established a new office in London. I'll meet you there." He swallows the canapé whole and vanishes as quickly as he came, leaving nothing but an acrid smell and a trail of crumbs. Okay, well, I guess we have even more reasons to go to London. Eleutheria will have to wait. I don't think we have a lot else to do here. Where are we at? We're just about in an hour. You know what? Let's go turn in our port reports and then go to Port Avon. And drop off our prospect. Oh, wow, we gained almost an entire level's worth of experience there. So, we've lost some hearts, and I'd like to maybe replenish them a little bit. At this point, I could definitely see us being haunted. It is, it's a little strange how this works. Like, as you continue, there's, like, the point at which you start the game, right? And you write your story forward from that through your actions in the game, and only back from that through these moments of reflection. But we are now further from some parts of our journey than we were at the beginning from the parts of our past. So it sort of seems like these should start to integrate the things that have happened to us since we started the game, right? I don't know. It's a very minor concern. A metamorphosis. You know, at some point we did change pretty seriously. You can no longer be the person you were told to be. Your old life would have ground you beneath it. You had to change. But was the change slow or sudden? So at some point, we went from, you know, living in the lap of, I don't know about luxury, but at least more luxury than we have now, to... I'm trying to imagine, like, how scholarly were we when we were back in the family home? What were we like? Because that's before pretty much all of the facets of our past that we've revealed so far, right? I think a gradual growth makes sense. We're sort of like, we're reading and learning. Our curiosity was encouraged by some member of our family, and as we continued to read and learn, we became more and more dissatisfied with the life that threatened to stretch ahead of us, right? You changed by inches, your new self growing from roots in the old. It was only after, when you looked back, that you saw how far you'd come. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Man, we have a lot of hearts to regain. And also, like, it's possible I should have focused on mirrors a little bit more there. Because we sure do still need a lot of mirrors gained to get to 75. Which I think was the amount that you need to get the Ratronaut from Mr. Menagerie. Or rather, the amount that you need to use it. Okay, 400 more sovereigns. We are now at 24 gratitude. Well, okay. 24 is a lot. We don't need to have 24. I don't remember. There was somebody who wanted port reports, somebody in Albion who wanted port reports from distant places, and there were certain ones they were interested in, and I don't remember which ones those were. Alright, where are we at on this now? We are at 10. I'm going to do a couple more. We have lots and lots of otherworldly artifacts that we can trade in. Okay. A lot of money to be made. So right now we are at 7,000 sovereigns. We're thinking about upgrading to that 6,000 sovereign engine, but we're not honestly all that far away from just getting the Moloch class liner from New Winchester. And we're going to London anyway, and we get full trade-in value on our engines, it seems. So there's no reason not to do the intermediate upgrade. but it seems like we're actually maybe going to be able to get that very fancy, extremely ostentatious engine a lot sooner than I would have predicted. Oh god, Tackity's banging into each other and just bouncing all over the place. This is a greater terror than any Scribe Spinster. Please stop trying to crash into me. Oh god. Okay, he's wandering off now. Alright, so we'll probably take the, provided that we get the Port Avon welcome event again, we'll take the cheap fuel, we will write our report, we'll turn in the stuff at the bazaar, and then we'll probably call it there for today. It seems that we need to go back to London. At some point we will explore the other areas. But this is looking like maybe not the moment. Although again, we don't know for sure that there is a relay from Albion that leads to Eleutheria or the Blue Kingdom. Yeah, but we have business in London. We'll go to London, we'll figure it all out. We'll figure all the rest of this stuff out later. Alright, Port Avon. Okay, we do not get the easy return event. I'm just going to go ahead and put our welcome back up to non-zero. Alright, and then... Bazaar. 80 each. That was quite a profit we made on that, plus an additional 50 sovereigns. The vicar is almost excessive in his gratitude. Ha! I shan't be the laughingstock of the village this year. I shall even put the carpenter's marrows to shame. Thank you for recognizing the importance of our little competition. I'll be honest with you, I didn't read anything about the little competition, I just saw the bold text. Okay, well now we have 6 Port Avon welcome. It turns out we are in no danger of getting chased out of here anytime soon. You know, we're not at 0 terror. We may as well do a little bit of reading. I do love this story about the bones in the well. It's just my favorite thing. Okay. Well, I think that is where we're going to leave it for today. We've done some very good work. We've made an awful lot of money, and we've finally made some progress on our stubborn story. So, come back next time on Monday to see how our publisher intends to continue it. And we'll see you then.